Hello, Mark Humphrey here for Claymore Drums. I'm going to be doing a series of videos taking a look at the 4/4 mass band drum scores, specifically the first measure of each part. And then I'll also take a look at the middle section as well for the unison. What I will be doing is taking it apart, showing you what the basic elements are in that particular measure, how to play them, improve on them, maybe some of the pitfalls you might run into when playing that particular part. And I will also show you a simplified version of that particular measure. I have written simplified mass band drum scores, which are on YouTube right now. Under simplified mass band drum scores, and then the time signature 244434. If you like what you hear and you want hard copies of it, please send me an email and I'll send them off to you. Let's take a look at the first measure of the mass band drum scores, 4/4, first measure of them, first part. There are two things that we need to take into consideration when looking at a new drum score, a new phrase, or a new rhythm. And that's the rhythmical aspect of it and the mechanical aspect of it, the actual physical playing of it. Let's take a look at the music, the rhythmical part of it first. Everything we play in the mass band, in pipe band drumming, in simple time, is based on the dot and cut eighth note, also known as a shuffle beat. It was predominant in the big band sound of the 1940s. Alright. Now in the pipe band idiom, everything in simple time. Here we are. Real, Walker McPhail. Hornpipe, Train Journey North. Alright, so everything in simple time. If you're having a problem trying to get phrasing it and playing it in a good musical manner, do that particular rhythm and it should fall into place. In my personal practice time, or when I'm teaching a student or working with a drum corps, every time we play anything in simple time, I always premise it with this and then count it in. Just reinforcing that underlying rhythm constantly. All right, let's take a look at the first measure of the 4/4 mass band drum scores. The main movement in there is a dot and cut and dot 5-stroke roll. Before you're able to play those, you should be able to play a good solid 5-stroke roll. Hand to hand. There are three things that we have control over in our drumming, and that's loud and soft, fast and slow, right hand, left hand. So you have to be able to play the 5-stroke roll or any rudiment in any of those combinations. To be able to play a good 5-stroke roll, you first need is a good double stroke. This is the backbone of what we play in the pipe band idiom. You have to be able to play a good double stroke, even, equal weight, equal sound. It's not the quality of sound, quantity of sound, it's the quality of sound that you want. And that particular movement right there is number one. I would recommend that you record yourself. It's very easy. For example, you might think to yourself, oh, I'm playing that very well, that's very clean. But if you record yourself and you listen back to it, you'll hear, alright? It's what we call the pump handle effect. So when you record yourself, because your ears are your worst enemies, they lie to you all the time. I know in my when I was playing solos in my solo career, I would record myself and go, wow, got that down, that's pretty good, yeah, no problems there. and then play it back to me, and then all I can hear is some, musical indiscretions going on all through the piece. I went, oh. So what my ears were telling me and what the tape were telling me were two different things. So let's take a look at it. There's the underlying rhythm. And I'll count you in. 1 and 2. Alright, now they're dot and cut, cut and dot. The dot means that the note gets half its value added to it, and the cut means that the note gets half its value taken it away, therefore balancing it out. It's very important to be able to play that, especially on the first one. Those two notes there have to be clean. It defines that movement. A lot of times it becomes very fuzzy sounding, and you don't get a very good clean sound out of it. The second 5-stroke roll is very short. It's cut and dot. It's still a 5-stroke roll. Hand to hand. What I hear some people play is a buzz tap. That is what is known as cheating, and you don't want to do that because you're not fooling anybody but yourself by doing that. The way to develop that particular short 5-stroke roll, worksheets, exercise sheets, and diligence in playing it and being true to yourself. Good enough never is, and that's a particular stumbling block with that. Okay, so when we put that all together, there's the underlying rhythm. I'll count you in. 1 and 2. Again. 1 and 2. Now, if you're just getting into the pipe band idiom and you find that's a little bit bridge too far for you, because these scores, in my personal opinion, are at a good grade 4, pushing grade 3 standard when played correctly, and I mean correctly, not just crash bang and wallop. So you have to build up to them. What I always emphasize is the rhythmical aspect of it. So this is what I teach somebody who's starting to learn how to play the mass band scores. Now, depending on what your teaching program is, you can add a flam to that. And then you could add in the first 5-stroke roll. And then when they have that down, you can add in the second 5-stroke roll. But that's always that underlying rhythm. All right. If you have any questions on this, please drop me an email, and hopefully I can answer them for you. And also, would you please mind visiting my webpage at www.claymoredrums.com. And if nothing else, thank you very much, and I hope to see you around the games. Thanks again.